Hello, everybody. Welcome back. YouTube.com/Geek Aloud. It's kind of a Tuesday night, and it's kind of 8 p.m.-ish. So, on Discord, I am joined, as always, by Unky Dunky. How you doing, sir?
Mate, I'm doing very well. Been a busy week. I haven't played too many games, but what I've been doing has been rather fun. So we'll talk all about it.
Excellent, mate. I love it. And, of course, Bully's there as well on Discord. Bully, how are you this evening?
Oh, just fantastic. This is throwing me around. Not only are we a day early, but we're actually mildly on time for once, and I do not know how to work through this.
What can I say? I had a good dinner and we're firing on all cylinders. So let me tell the audience about the run of show, shall I? We start off with games, interrogation, deliberation. That's everything. Bully, Unky Dunky, and myself have been playing all week. Then what do? Then, of course, we go into the newsroom. We frolic around. We find some news and we send it your way. And then, of course, it's the standoff segment. Everyone's favourite, best of the best. But Unky Dunky, what have you got for us this evening?
Hey, this evening we got the best quality of life feature in a video game. There's quite a few on this list. Let us know. Sound off in the chat if there's something in video games you've liked that made your gameplay easier or more fun. Let us know. Well, hopefully it's on our list, but if it's not, we'll get to it at the end.
I love it, mate. Thank you very much. And then, of course, speaking of the end, segment 4 is audience interrogation. That's where we come back to you in the YouTube chat. Any thoughts you have during the evening, bang them on into the YouTube chat. We'll definitely get back to you. Without further ado, let's get into, there's game 1 somewhere. Games, interrogation. I've lost my button. Let's just go to game 1, shall we? And this week it was Escape Academy. And Unky Dunky, I understand you tried to get out of there.
I did. Escape Academy, the Spanish say. This game, I was immediately taken aback because I do enjoy a good escape room and puzzle game, and this sort of fired on all cylinders for me. This, I did a real-life escape simulator not that long ago. I think it was maybe just when we had a break during COVID stuff. We did one as a birthday present to myself. It was Harry Potter themed. It was quite fun and really did require a lot of teamwork and stuff, which I know in this you can actually play co-op as well, which would probably make some of the puzzles easier and faster. But yeah, just a really enjoyable puzzle experience. My understanding is the developers actually used to run actual real-world escape rooms, I think in London, England somewhere.
Okay.
So they decided to make a video game based on it. Obviously, with the whole COVID stuff hitting, they had less people and no people being able to attend their actual rooms. So they've created this game. And what it is a very fascinating and really well-realized escape room simulator. It's really fun. It's really creative. You open up in a tutorial level where it's quite simple. I think the first time I went through that first time there, I think they give you 10 minutes to solve your first room, and I think I did it in 4 minutes the first time.
Nice.
And then you come into a room that's not timed. You've got to get out of there. Got an A+ ranking for that as well. Found all the clues, got out of there reasonably quick as well. And then you're into the main game proper where, this is kind of like a test to get you into the Escape Academy. So once you pass those tests, you get on this train, you're off to the Escape Academy, and then you have to pass the exam. So I've then gone and passed the exam, also got myself an A+ for the exam as well, which was a little bit tougher than what I had been doing. I did get admittedly stuck for a little bit. There is a button you can hit for a hint, but I refuse to do that because I think I'm smart enough in games. I can do this without a hint, so I did manage. You can see it on the screen now. That was one of the things I almost needed a hint for, was the bookcase and the things. I couldn't quite find that, but I did eventually find it without using that hint. But just really clever. And it's one of those games that some of these puzzle games you can feel dumb because you just can't figure stuff out. This is one of those games where it's kind of fun. You take your time, you can figure it out. To give you an example, in that exam room, there's you might see like a suitcase that's got a lock on it, and it might have 3 numbers on it, but it's got a picture of a plant, a clock, and some trophies. And you sort of look around the room, you notice, yep, okay, cool, there's 3 trophies within the room. How many plants are in the room? Okay, there's 5 plants and there's 2 clocks. So this is a simple version of some of the puzzles you've got, but you go, okay, maybe the combination's 2, 3, 5. And yep, that's the answer. So you open the suitcase, you get your next clue. But it's just really ingenious. I know the puzzles are going to get much harder from what I'm seeing here in the trailer. I haven't come across some of this stuff that I've seen yet. I'm getting quite scared looking at it, knowing what's coming. But the time pressure on you, some of these levels go for, as you can see, 30 minutes, 45 minutes are some of the time things. So these are long levels, but the good thing about it is sort of once you sort of figured out that puzzle, if you then fail it, you're going to move through that puzzle room way faster the second time because you know the solution, and then it's a matter of just getting you faster towards that bit you couldn't solve. So it's a really fun game and really engaging, cool art style. Like the story's minimal, but it's there enough to give you sort of drive to go through this academy and these characters and these puzzles. But no, I'm having a lot of fun. Has any of you guys dipped your toes in the Escape Academy?
I haven't, mate, but I've got a few questions for you. The first one is I'm very much reminded of. I'm reminded of it so much, I'm blanking on the title. What is it? No Time to Die. Remember to Die? The VR one, the James Bond VR one.
Yes.
I expect you to die, and I expect you to die too. They're the ones. So my question is, would this be better in VR, do you think? That was my feeling looking at it. I'm like, oh, that would be better in VR, surely.
Not necessarily better, because you do have, unlike I Expect You to Die 2, you do have sort of free movement. You're walking around the room, which obviously I think works very well in VR anyway, provided you got your sea legs and your VR legs about you and you're not too...
Oh, that's a tough one.
Play fast-paced gameplay. You are sort of walking slowly around trying to figure out these puzzles. It just takes it away when you are used to that silky 60 frame. You would like to think a game that looks like this on an Xbox Series X running, you'd like to think it could run 60, if not even more.
Yeah, you would certainly hope
so. But no, it is on Game Pass, so there's no excuse not to pick this up, to be honest. If you're a fan of puzzle games, especially if you like I Expect You to Die and I Expect You to Die 2, very similar in concept, and just, really fun. It's one of those ones you can probably play some really good couch co-op, just have someone sit next to you and just try and solve these puzzles together. Like, it is really fun.
It looks great, mate. Now, when you finish the exam at the start, as you're entering the academy, is there some sort of sorting hat? Do you get placed in a house? How does this work?
No house, although you are sort of on the money. It does seem very Hogwartsy in the way it does have this sort of academy that's quite grand and these big grounds that you go and meet these characters at. So, no, definitely no sorting hat as such, but this is a cool mystery. And this exam room is quite cool. You just pretty much get out of the room. You're trying to figure out the headmaster's or headmistress's name fully to get. You need her first, middle name, and last name. So not really spoilers, but you got to, like, there's one just in terms of the way the puzzle works. You end up finding like a screwdriver in the level, which gets you through a tunnel, which then gets you a phone number. Then you got to use the phone to make a phone call, and the guy that you call obviously thinks you're the headmaster, and then he's like, oh wait, and then he gives you the surname of the headmaster. So that's one part of the puzzle. But then you've got to go and find the rest. You might find a photo, but then you've got to find a mask that's also the person that you're looking for is wearing in that photo. So you got to kind of match all this stuff up. Like, it's worth having a piece of paper and a pen ready to go just to sort of start writing down the stuff that you're finding. Although you do have a sort of tracker for the hints that you've picked up. You can look at that any time during puzzles or outside of puzzles. So no, I've been very impressed with this game from an indie developer.
It looked really cool, man. My final question would just be, do you know how many levels there are? Sort of full gameplay time. What would the campaign take?
Not sure. I've watched a bit of Kind of Funny content, and they Greg Miller played 6 hours.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
On his first playthrough. So yeah, not a bad little title. Like, if you just got a weekend to play and you want to do some cool puzzling with your partner or, son, daughter, whatever, like, this is a good time. And I think anyone that picks it up that enjoys that kind of stuff, stimulating the brain but not too much, I think they're going to really get their money's worth, or not even their money's worth, because it's free on Game Pass.
Nice. Sorry, you just mentioned kids, so I assume it is kid-friendly, no cursing, no decapitations, nothing like this?
Yeah, definitely kid-friendly. It's no Saw, as you mentioned earlier this week. Limbs, nothing like that.
Very good. Well, you've sold me on it, mate. I'll definitely be checking it out later this week at some point. But what about you, Bully? Your thoughts?
It looks a lot different than what I actually thought. I'd never actually seen the trailer, so it's probably it actually looks quite good from a visual point of view and a graphics point of view. I was just wondering, though, I think the thing that sort of puts me off with some of these games is some of the puzzles, especially if you're looking more at the old point-and-click adventure type ones that can be really obtuse and have no... there's no rhyme or reason why there's this puzzle here, and it's almost impossible to solve without a guide. There's a couple that I can remember from the old LucasArts days. I'm just wondering if this game has any of those, or whether if you put the effort in and you pay attention enough that you can actually work yourself through the solution.
No, that's actually a good question. And I think I had that question before starting as well. And I can say it is very accessible for the puzzle solvers. Like if you just pay attention to what's going on, like I find myself at the start of the level just sort of walking through, just looking what I've got and looking at, say, you'll find whatever's got the lock on it or a suitcase or whatever and see what it is. And then it's pretty easy to figure out. It's one of those things that it feels like it makes you feel smart because it's not necessarily hard, but it's set up in a way that it does make you get that aha moment where you're like, oh, I actually figured this out, as opposed to it being too easy. So I think it finds a really good balance between, making you feel smart and not being too hard as well. Like something like The Witness, where you play that game, I just felt stupid the whole time because I could never figure anything out. Whereas this is completely opposite.
Nice one, man.
I suppose I was
Sorry,
going to say that was one of probably the comparison I was going to draw was to The Witness, which I played through a little bit, but I was sort of the same. I think that most people you speak to that really get into it, it gets to a point in that game where everything just sort of clicks and you understand the reasoning behind the puzzles and that sort of stuff where, for me, I just sort of, it's probably a step too far in a puzzle game. I just want something that's going to change.
Oh, mate, well, this is right down your alley then, because that literally fits that mold perfectly.
Might be a bit of a weird question. Seriously, my last one, though. Is there any, does audio play into this at all, Steve, or could it be a good podcasting game?
No, audio does play into it.
Okay. Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All the stuff, especially if you've got subtitles. So yeah, you could potentially just sit there and solve puzzles. But I found all my brain power being used up by actually playing the game and trying to solve the puzzle, which I found quite the fun. So it's probably not the best way to play. Puzzles, especially when you're playing these levels that last like 30 minutes. Right down to the end of the ride.
Nice one, mate. Excellent. Well, I'll definitely be checking it out. Sorry, Bully, did he get you on board? Will you have a look, mate, or not quite for you?
Oh, look, I think the age-old thing. It's on Game Pass. It's free. You've piqued my interest enough. It's worth a download and at least, play through the first little bit and then make an assessment from there. But from what I can see, looks pretty good.
Beautiful. Well, you're still there, Bully, and talking about things on Game Pass, mate. The Ascent, I understand you played a bit this week, and when I say understand, we streamed it together on Friday.
Yeah, we did play through it. I did a bit of solo play for half an hour or so the day before, and look, I'll be honest, I'm not a massive twin-stick shooter fan. Just the mechanics of it, and especially this one's got the added one of basically a tilt on the gun, so you can shoot sort of straight across, or you can sort of lift the gun up and it'll shoot up and over obstacles. So again, and I've said it in the past, probably the dexterity is not quite there for me anymore, but sort of worked my way through it. But playing it with someone else when we did the live stream, got a lot more out of it that way, rather than just sort of doing it solo, which is probably the same as another game we'll touch on later on. But I really enjoyed it. The setting and the graphics that go with that are amazing for I can't remember the developer, but like a smaller, obviously not AAA type effort, but it still looks amazing graphically. Some of the lighting effects that come up when your gun fires and that sort of stuff is amazing. And I'd thoroughly recommend it if you got someone else to play with. Certainly jump in and do a bit of co-op stuff, and it adds a lot more to the gameplay as well.
It does, mate, and I can tell you the developer was Neon Giant. Neon Giant are the developers of this. Now, I want to jump in and just say this game looks so much better than when it launched. Steve, I remember trying to play it with you. I think it was on launch day or maybe a day after. and we had a lot of bugs, and it visually felt like it was lacking a fair bit of polish, but they have done so much work onto this thing. It now is an absolute must-play if you've got Game Pass, in my opinion. Even if someone like Bully, not a big fan of the twin-stick shooters, he was still able to have fun in there. So even if twin-stick shooters aren't traditionally for you, I say give it a shot, but visually it looks fantastic. They have just lifted the bar and squashed all but one bug. We only had one bug the entire multiplayer session, and it was one enemy that Bully could see. I couldn't even see him. And then I believe, Bully, you couldn't kill him regardless of how many times you hit him. Is that right?
Yeah, that's sort of where we got to, but I think we just ran off and moved on to the next part and just kept going. But
yeah, it wasn't. Sorry, mate.
Question I was just going to say, I think when you're talking about playing it at launch, and I know you said that the graphics are a lot better, but I think you mentioned as well that at launch the frame rate had some fairly significant dips as well, which I didn't really notice when we were playing through, even in the co-op.
Yeah, they have the only frame rate hiccups I noticed were on the loading screens, which is fine. Like, I don't know if you recall, Steve, but in the loading, it's you're on the train or in the taxi, and it's like a locked off camera, and there's a little bit of movement. I didn't know you could even move in there. Bully showed it to me. Bully started running around. I was like, whoa, you can move in the loading screen.
It's funny you say. I actually have gone through, as of literally when I got home from work today, I've reinstalled the Ascent, thanks to you guys playing it, and got back into it myself. Bit of solo action. I managed to get past a bit I was stuck at, because let's face it, solo play in this game, even on easy, is absolutely brutal.
It is.
The difficulty in this game is so hard.
You've brought up an excellent point, mate. I was meant to mention this and it slipped, but the boss encounters we had, Bully and I played through 2 or 3 bosses that I'd already encountered in single player on easy. And to your point, mate, I reckon it was a third, maybe a quarter of the time for 2 players to drop it as one person. So I don't think there's any scaling going on, or if there is, it's very minimal for multiplayer. I think maybe it just always assumes you're in a party of 3 or 4. I'm not sure what the maximum is.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought usually I just chuck these games on easy just to get through them, but God, this game is so difficult. I just fought some kind of spider mech boss thing. I'm not sure if you fought that boss yet or not. He absolutely killed me the first time through. Managed to get him the second time through, but yeah, my God, just it's a very cool game. Like, I play this game mainly for the aesthetics and the look and feel of the whole game. I think, and the atmosphere it creates is so good that you put up with some of that difficulty and stuff. They've added a transmog system now, so I've gone through and made my character look the way I wanted to look without ruining my actual abilities that I've got attached to my suit and gun and stuff like that. So that's quite cool. But I can see myself getting back into this game in a big way if I can put up with that difficulty playing solo.
2 tips I can give you, Steve. One, the DLC for $6 has a really overpowered rocket launcher in it. So even in single play, you can feel like you're getting through it quite quickly. So spend the $6.
Troy, it's like you think I'm a whale. Whale alert! No, fine. I'll spend the $6, Troy. You've squished my arm.
It wasn't hard. So that's enjoyable. What was the second one? The transmog system is handy because I picked up, or purchased in store, I should say, the best stats helmet I had, which was actually a jack-o'-lantern, like pumpkin head. But because of the transmog, I was able to flick it out to something that looked a bit more, aesthetically pleasing for the environment that they've built. But
perfect.
It's a fantastic game, and if you look up there now, you can see when Bully's firing, he's the one in the blue circle, but the pistol he had this awesome, like, blue laser-type bullet thing and swirls around. Just the fidelity level is so increased, and the reflections as well coming off, like, he shoots his... it's a bullet, but with, like, laser effects coming off it, but then over a puddle, and you can see the reflections twice. It's phenomenal. Such a good game. They've worked really hard on it, even since launch. So if you checked it out and haven't gone back, this is your time to go back and check it out. I think it's well worth it. I was very impressed with it. That's it for me. Bully, did you have any final thoughts on it, mate?
No, other than if you're sitting on the fence with it, grab a friend and jump into it. That's, in my opinion, you've already touched on the difficulty, but in terms of enjoying it and getting most out of the game, I think you've got to do a co-op with some friends.
Agreed. Unky Dunky, any final points from you on this one, mate?
Well, only final point is, and it'll come up in standoff later as a thing we like to see in games, is some accessibility stuff. I would like to see a mode which makes it even easier for us, us older players that aren't quite as dexterous on their fingers these days.
Fair enough. Oh, one I did need to be more dexterous on. Game 3 this evening is Rage 2. If you recall, 3 episodes of G.E.A. back, we briefly discussed whether this would be a good game for me or not. Turns out it is. You're watching here some footage. I think maybe I'm 6 or 7 hours into the campaign at this point from what you're seeing now. So I've unlocked a few abilities and stuff. It doesn't start this sort of fluid and dynamic. But I want to say this game was, and please correct me, guys, I believe it was 2019 it came out. I might be off on that. But
yeah, 2019 or 2018. It's one. I think it's 2019.
Yeah. Round there, so it's a few years old at this point, but in the gaming lull we're in at the moment, this is a perfect time, I reckon, pick up Rage 2. Once again, it's in Game Pass, so if you're on the Xbox with Game Pass, it is a good night for that. Another recommendation from there, all the standard fare of the modern shooters, power-ups, upgrades, vehicle upgrades, all the rest of it. An enjoyable, fun time, very gory. I don't know. I'm just enjoying it a lot, but it's a pretty standard shooter, so I don't have a whole lot to say on it other than that if you've got Game Pass and you enjoy shooters, get into it. Steve, you got any additional thoughts on it? I know we discussed it a few weeks ago, that's all.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed Rage 2. My only gripe is the fact that it runs at 30 frames per second, which for a game like this, you really want it running at 60. And I would have liked to think by now we probably would have seen that.
Yeah.
I love my time with Rage 2. I finished everything. I unlocked all the abilities, did all the side missions, all the campaign missions. Really, really enjoyed it. And yeah, if this game got that 60 frame per second, I could see myself playing it through from start to finish again. I really enjoy the combat that much because they do give you like a plethora of abilities and guns and stuff that really does make combat really fun. And especially with the vehicle stuff as well. I think they designed the combat encounters really well. That it's just fun to play. I would love to see it at a slightly higher frame rate. That's all.
Yeah, as well with me on that one. Bully, any thoughts from you, mate, other than the discussion we've had previously?
No. You were right. It was 2019 release.
Beautiful.
I remember playing it probably in that same launch year. I don't know if I got it at launch, but in that launch year, and I really enjoyed it. I think my only question is, was there, and I can't recall, is there a co-op mode in your Borderlands style one, or is it just a solo single player only?
I actually have no idea. Unky Dunky, have you looked into it?
I believe it's just solo.
Yeah, I haven't even looked at the main menu for a multiplayer option.
Oh, there you go. So that was sort of one that would probably get me back into it a little bit if you could do this sort of co-op, and it'd be like we've said with a few of the games in the last little while that some of these games that you can sort of describe as your standard shooter and all that, but once you throw a few friends in there, it gets a lot more. It gives you a lot more interest into the game, and you sort of get into it a bit more. But I'm just having a look now. It doesn't appear that it does have a co-op multiplayer, so that might push me out of getting back into that one.
Yeah, fair enough. Unky Dunky, over to you for your high pressure impressions, I should say, of the Powerwash Simulator.
Mate, we've had a lot of simulating games on Xbox. We've had Microsoft Flight Simulator. We've had Farming Simulator. We've had Lawnmower Simulator, Goat Simulator. Like there's a high team. We've got Bus Simulator. What else have we got? We've got Football Managers. That's a type of simulator game. We've got Hunting Simulator. We've got Car Mechanic Simulator. Troy,
don't forget
none of them. None of them hold a candle to Powerwash Simulator. None of them. None of them, Troy.
Now, I've got to be honest, Steve, there's nothing about this game yet that's going to pull me in. So give us your best sale on this, mate. What's so good about it?
Can I ask if you've gone hands-on yet?
I have not, no.
There's my point. You need to go hands-on with this, Troy. There is nothing more pleasurable than cleaning crap off other crap. There's something therapeutic about this game. It's like the sound effects are perfect. Like nothing has ever sounded more real in a game than the way this hose sounds against the fabric of wood, metal, plastic, grass. They've just absolutely nailed everything about this game when it comes to realism, and I just can't praise it enough. Like I have become so adept to handling my hose, Troy. I'm pretty good at handling my hose, if you know what I mean. But this game's got me on another level. I've got different tweaks for my hose. I can turn it left, I can turn it right, I can turn it upside down, I can go high pressure, I can go low pressure. I can add certain ingredients to my hose that makes it more, it cleans stuff faster, Troy. Like, you got no idea. Like this simulator is hitting marks that other games just cannot hit.
If you were playing this on PlayStation, would you be going for the platinum?
Mate, if this game was on the PlayStation, the dual sense, it would feel like the Powerwash was coming out of your hands, Troy. That's another reason to be playing this. I would be going for the platinum. Like, you got no idea how much time I've actually spent playing this inverted commas game. It's ridiculous. Like, I've said words this week that I thought I'd never say to my wife ever. Troy, this week, and Bully, I said to my wife, "Hey, Kat, come over here. Come and have a look how clean my Stegosaurus is." You don't get those kind of comments out of any game. Like,
it's true, you don't.
You just don't. You don't. Exactly right. I've never said those words before, and this game is because Elden Ring. You don't get those kind of comments out of Elden Ring, do you?
No, thank goodness.
That's a dirty, dirty world that's in need of a clean, and this is what this game is for. This game, it's like, okay, so how much fun was colouring in as a child, Troy and Bully? Did you enjoy colouring in?
Oh, yeah. It had its time. Sure.
Yeah, you enjoy the hell out of colouring in stuff. And so do your kids. This is colouring in for adults. You might argue that if you've got time to clean in a video game, you've got time to clean in real life. You might argue that. And you might argue that the 12 hours that I put into this game probably could have been spent better elsewhere, maybe cleaning my house, ready for sale. But no, Troy. Those don't get achievements. We need achievements. We've been discussing all week the need for achievements to,
yes.
leaderboard. I'm not getting achievements by cleaning shit in real life. I need to use this game, Troy. That's what I'm using it for. Okay?
Fair enough.
This game. This has lit me up. This is top of the game of the year contention. You get satisfying ding noises when you clean. So you don't have to clean a whole thing just to get some satisfaction. Like, you clean part of a thing and it goes ding. And you get that serotonin just hits you in the brain just right. There's a button, Troy. If you don't know what you haven't cleaned, you hit a button. It tells you still need to clean this bit. So
detective vision style.
For this game. It's got detective vision for dirt, Troy.
Nice.
No other game does that.
No
other game does detective vision for dirt.
Certainly not.
This game does. Okay. All right. I'm making a mark. This is top tier gaming. This is top tier simulatoring. Like, give me a controller that just has the feedback. Like, PS5, come to the table. Give me this PlayStation Plus. I'm going to play this. I'm going to platinum it. Let's call it Game of the Year.
Well, I'm seeing that there's a couple of players on screen here, Steve. So does this have multiplayer? Is that what I'm to understand?
This has got a multiplayer, Troy. And let me tell you, it would help because, like, I mean, there's some big levels. I've cleaned first level. You clean a van. That took me maybe 10, 15 minutes. I have since, I sent you a video footage of me cleaning a whole front yard area. That maybe took an hour all up coming back to it. Thank God the Xbox has got a save state where you can just come back to levels, because I don't think it's safe mid-game. You've got to be in it for the long haul. I'm probably maybe 75% through a park now, which has got the Stegosaurus in it and stuff. I've still got to do the whole ground and everything. I've already spent maybe 2.5 hours in this level, and I'm still going to get through it. But you know what? I'm down for that challenge. I'm down for that grind. I'm a hashtag real gamer, Troy. I'm washing shit.
I hear that, man. Now, I think the metric of any simulator would be to ask, how much has it improved your real-world power wash cleaning? I think if your real-world skills have increased as a result, then we can give it 2 big thumbs up.
Well, I dare say it probably has, but what it really has done is made me realize how dirty everything else is in the world, and I really wish I had a power wash that I could use whenever I wanted with unlimited water and power, because this game it does give you a really unrealistic expectation of how much water you can actually use. Because, God damn it, Troy, if this was my house, that water bill would be extreme. I use so much water, it's ridiculous. Yes, things get stupidly dirty. A park should not be as dirty as it is, and my lawnmower should not be covered from head to toe in dirt because I'm doing something completely wrong.
You've missed the storyline. What's that, Bully? The volcano erupted.
Oh, the volcano erupted.
That's
I
why
mean,
there's
that's not a
ash.
real thing, but we're going to pretend that it did.
It is. That's the story. That's why everything's covered in this black ash, because the volcano erupted. Cannot believe you haven't got into the story that much. Dear, you call yourself #real gamer.
Oh God! I mean, you might just say the #real gamer part is the cleaning of the dirt, regardless of the story, because I'm there no matter what. But that's okay. That's okay. I'll take that. I'll take that on board. I'll listen more intent to the story. But you know what? I'm there for a good time. I'm there for a clean time. And you know what? I'm going to get it clean, Troy. That's what I'm going to do. This whole game, nothing's going to stand in my way.
I love it. Well, I'll tell you what didn't stand in our way earlier this week. Bully, we played some Back for Blood, mate.
We did. We got back into it for, my second Let's Play with you. I think you've done a couple more than that.
Yeah, just a few.
Again, same as the Ascent. It's I tried to do a little bit of it solo before we played together. It was okay. As soon as you get a couple of friends in there and you start playing there, and you can just, it's almost a mindless sort of game where you can just sort of you shoot the zombies and you power your way through it. There's not really a lot of objectives that you need to reach, so you can happily chat away and get sort of engrossed in the conversation and not have to pay too much attention to what you're doing. And I just a perfect sit down play for an hour, enjoy it. You don't have to get sucked into the story like, has a volcano erupted? How have the zombies got here? You just play through it. You sit down. I suppose if you were going to do it by yourself, throw a podcast on. I don't know what else you want to listen to other than Geek Aloud and the Gaming Enforcement Agency. So maybe listen to it again. I don't know. But yeah, really fun game. Had a great time with it, and as we mentioned on the live stream the other day, and I think it's still available. You can get the PS5 version with the season pass, which normally costs $40 itself. You can get both of them together for $30. So it's either free on Game Pass, or you can get it for the cheap version on the PS5. Well worth the money if you want to put into it. Grab yourself a couple of friends, jump into it. It's fantastic fun.
It is great, and I should say we just went back to it because Unky Dunky himself on the channel a few weeks ago was telling us how much it had been improved, how many balance tweaks and everything's they'd made to improve the experience. And so we've gone on, and I've picked it up on a second console. That's how much I'm loving it, as Bully just said. So this is fantastic. You should definitely go hands-on and play another first-person shooter. I've been all about my first-person shooters, and I'm just wondering, Steve, this world's pretty dirty. Do you want to get in there maybe with your high-pressure wash after we've gone through with the zombies and get some blood and brain matter off things?
Mate, obviously, some of that blood in that scene, that's all I want to do is clean the hell out of it. You got to believe it. But like, in all serious note, this, like, I was so jealous of watching you guys streaming, and obviously I couldn't stream due to other things going on this week. But I was just jonesing to play this game with someone else. As much fun as it has been playing, even solo now, and the way they've balanced it and being able to play offline with bots and stuff.
Yeah,
just playing with mates and stuff. This game, I think, just would be fantastic. I just think it's got a really great combat loop. I think the gunplay feels really good. It feels good to shoot zombies.
Oh, wait.
Really nailed that feeling of shooting things.
Let me tell you, mate, on the DualSense, have they nailed the feeling of shootings? Please continue.
Oh, I could imagine. Unfortunately, yeah, I've got it on Xbox and done all my stuff there. I'm not sure if it's got cross-save, but I don't think it does.
No.
Yeah, I'd consider doing it just for that. But I reckon I'd probably put, like, apart from Elden Ring, this is probably the game I've put the most hours in this year. Granted, I did destroy my back and get sick a couple of weeks back, and this was all I was doing. But yeah, no, I was very surprised with this game, and I've now almost finished my second playthrough on the harder difficulty. I believe you're probably playing on Recruit right now.
Yes. Yep.
Which was the new difficulty they added, which I think was just a masterstroke to add for the players to actually get through and start unlocking a card deck, which can get you through the hard difficulties. And I will tell you that, by the time you do finish the campaign the first time, you do have a deck that actually will get you through those harder difficulties, which we absolutely struggled with the first time we tried to stream this. We couldn't get past those early stages to save ourselves. And, like, we're pretty deep. Well, I'd say we're decent enough gamers that we could generally do it, but just the way they threw those hordes of bigger enemies at you, you had no chance to survive, whereas now you actually do, and it's just sort of transformed this game. And yeah, like, originally I think a lot of people were saying it wasn't as good as Left 4 Dead or anything like that. I'd go as far as to say I'm having more fun with this than I ever had with Left 4 Dead back in the day. Mainly because Australia didn't get real blood. We had green blood in Australia. So.
I agree with you, mate. Now that they've done all their recent improvements, it is the best one these guys have done. Steve, can you tell me if at the end of Act 1, it appears as though I lost all my weapons that I'd worked so hard to get when starting Act 2. Did I hit a wrong button, or is that the way it's meant to function?
I did see you do that, and I had the exact same thing. You do actually lose, because Act 2 is generally a start to a new game, essentially, so a new run. You set up new runs at the start of each chapter, so you do have to essentially start from scratch, start with your grey weapons and green weapons and work your way back up and stuff. But it doesn't take you too long to sort of find your niche in your weapon and get those upgrades for those weapons pretty quick. So it kind of gives you a chance to sort of maybe switch up your gameplay as well, because you might get stuck in your ways. Like for me, I know I like to rock the Deagle and the M1.
Yeah.
That is counterintuitive, because I believe the Diesel or the Deagle and the M1 do have the same ammo, which is kind of annoying, because there's no point doing that. Otherwise, you run out of ammo much faster. So I've ended up finding myself using a Magnum generally and the M1 if I could. So there's a lot of strategy to have, and it all depends on sort of what cards you sort of have in your deck and what builds up your build. So you can have a ridiculously good melee build with good melee cards, or you could up your deck with like better ammo and all that kind of stuff for your troops, and then have obviously your assault weapons and stuff like that. So I just really like what they've created here. I think there's a lot of depth, especially now with all the offline mode stuff. I think it's a very viable solo game where it never used to be. So definitely, if you haven't got your hands on it, there's no excuse not to.
Yes.
With the deck building, I was wondering if there's any cards that might help you stop tripping the horde coming at you.
I presume you're talking to Troy about that, because I did watch that stream, and Troy's tripping hordes and shooting police cars and stuff like they're no tomorrow. It's like he wants to die, essentially.
It's really unintentional. I'm just terrible sometimes. Most of the time.
I can 100% assure you that if there is ever a real zombie apocalypse, I'm driving in the opposite direction of Troy.
I'll come towards Troy, because Troy obviously needs someone to help him. So you got me, Troy.
Thanks, Unky Dunky. I love it. Speaking of things I need help from Unky Dunky with, Game 6 this evening, Elden Ring. Now, Steve, I know you're a few seconds behind, so I'll just wait a beat. But can you tell me if, when you do see it, is this the entrance to the final boss? I have no idea how much the stream's lagging, but I'm just dealing with a bloke on a horseback, and he was very tough. Yeah. I eventually got him.
Mate, I'm going to tell you, if you've actually got him, so that's all right. He's essentially a mini-boss.
No, I knew it was I do that, but I just wanted to dance with him. I found it's obviously better to dance with the guys before you go in there. They're typically trying to teach you whatever skill or one of the, attacks of the forthcoming boss.
So have you fought the boss after this guy?
Yes, I have not beaten him yet, but yes, I've been into the arena and he's killed me plenty of times.
Okay, so you've still got a little bit to go, I have to say. And that boss you're fighting, he's pretty tough. He took me quite a few goes in the end. I did get him. I reckon you've still got maybe 3 or 4 bosses after that.
Yeah, that's not much in Elden Ring style.
It's not too bad, but that final boss you wait to have. You think you've had it tough this time, like the fire giant is nothing on that final boss.
That's scary. I'm terrified. But I'm really enjoying Elden Ring's totally got its hooks back in me at this point. I've just been going back to old areas that I'd missed and doing a lot of cleanups, mainly going for that platinum, Steve. I'm making sure I get all the, the correct drops from all the different spots in the world and stuff.
You might remind me, what's the time? I said 6 weeks and I chopped my hand off. Are you outside that 6 weeks yet or not?
I believe the end of this week, the bet will lapse, so I'm fine. I can go as hard as I want at Elden Ring. There's no way I'm finishing it inside a week, especially.
Oh, so you say you're fine? So I guess I'm fine.
You're totally fine, mate. Yeah, no, you're fine.
I'm going to be dexterous at the end of this week. Yeah, good.
Nothing to worry about from my side. But yeah, this bloke in here, I got no idea how you're meant to beat him. He absolutely destroyed me.
I'm pretty sure. I said he was tough. I reckon I beat him second go. So I'm not sure if you've had to crack him.
I think he's probably already killed me 10 times.
Yeah, mate. With the mimic tier, I reckon I got him pretty quick, I think.
Nice. This one, and I'm also stuck on. I don't know his name, but underneath. You know how you drop down and then you lay down and then you get teleported off to the arena?
Dragon. Oh,
yeah.
That boss fight's epic. It took me a while. Actually, my funny story with that one is that the time I actually beat him, I had beaten him and then I died because I got hit by some area of effect attack right as I killed him. So the kill registered, but I didn't actually get to pick up any of his stuff, and you can't go back there once you actually.
Oh no!
Once you go back a level, so I missed out on whatever he dropped, which was very frustrating. So I got the
wow.
trophy for beating him, but I never got to pick up whatever he dropped.
That would kill me because I'm playing all this, using various guides to make sure I don't miss anything and I can do it in one playthrough. But that would nuke your entire playthrough. Like that boss would definitely drop items that are required for 2 other trophies.
Yeah. I think so. So that's definitely something. I've gone back there. You literally cannot get back to that arena once you beat him. So it was very nice to beat him, but it was sort of it wasn't the best feeling once I died and couldn't go back there.
That would be terrible. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen to me. But Steve, what are my chances in getting you online with Elden Ring at some point this week to help me with a few spots? Do you reckon?
It'll be I'm on Arvos for the rest of the week, so if we can find some time and I'm not busy doing house stuff during the week, then I might be able to jump on a morning for you and give you a bit of a chop out, I reckon.
Excellent, mate. I love it. Let's call that the plan, which also brings us into our overtime this week. Unky Dunky, any overtime, mate, for you?
Just a little bit. Only one game on my overtime, which was match point tennis. I've been getting stuck into that and getting stuck into the career mode. I was not down on it last week, but I was sort of at the fact that I enjoyed the Australian Open game more. Yeah. But I reckon I've come around. I've come around on match point tennis, and I reckon it's now my preferred tennis game. I'm just having a lot of fun with it. I've sort of found the groove and the stuff with the play and the fact that I've got a player that looks very much like me, even though my wife looked at it and goes, "Oh, look at your character. He's really ugly." I'm like, "Oh, that's me." So that was a bit of a kick to the teeth. But apart from that, he's good at tennis. Well, he's good at tennis, so who cares? He's got a lot of money. He's gonna land a good-looking chick anyway. But no, I've been smashing all my games. My only criticism is I think I don't know whether it's because I'm early in my career, even though I've played a fair bit of it, but I find myself winning a lot of games 6-0 now that I know how to play the game. When I didn't really know what I was doing, I'm like, that's fine. But now I'm just I know where to serve. I know how to play. There's not too much that I can't get out of in a game or a tournament now. Again, it's enjoyable because I'm winning the game. It's just, and I enjoy finding, I like the aspect they've got where you can find weaknesses in a player. I actually got an achievement the other night for finding all the weaknesses and strengths of a player within one game. So that was kind of cool.
Oh, wow.
Trophy or achievement. So no, having a lot of fun with that, and I'm really enjoying the sort of the structure of the championship where you can choose to either play a tournament or you can choose to do training and up your skills, which I'll always take because by the time you finish those skills, you're up all your strength and your forearm and backhand and all that kind of stuff. But no, really cool little game. And again, we spoke about it last week, so I don't need to go too in depth with it. But again, it's Game Pass. Play it on the cloud. Download it to your console. It's like a 4 gig download. Definitely give it a go if you're into tennis at all. Bully, I know you won't be because you hate tennis. That's okay. The other thing I've been playing, I've actually started watching, which came out sort of out of nowhere, and I've been looking forward to it just because I love Resident Evil. But the new Netflix show dropped this week as well, so I've been binging that. I think I'm up to episode 3 now. Episodes are about an hour plus per episode, and it's a really good adaptation of Resident Evil. And I was a little bit cool on it watching the trailers for it, but ever since the reviews dropped, I think IGN gave it an 8 and then GameSpot gave it a 9. I thought, they do like to give generous scores, those sites, but I think it's deserved. Like they've used they've used the mythos of Resident Evil and the original sort of story to sort of create this really cool story involving the Weskers. They've sort of Albert Wesker's now played by the guy, I can't remember his name, but he's the actor that played what's his name in Horizon Zero Dawn, the main sort of friend / antagonist to Aloy, bald head, black guy.
I'm not sure. IMDbing.
He's in lots of things. He's very well known. Like as soon as you hear him speak, you're like, I've heard that guy in bloody everything. He's really good as Albert Wesker. He's got 2 daughters, and the show's split from the Outbreak time to I think it's about roughly 20 years later to present time, and the way they sort of flick between the timelines is really well done, and it's not egregious at all. It flicks between one of his daughters is older in the present time, and they've just sort of mentioned that the other daughter's looking for her, and back in the past, the two sisters are working together, and you see them, they break into Umbrella Corporation. She gets bit by a dog, so you kind of don't know what's going on there. But then the way they just sort of flick back between the timelines, normally it can be quite jarring to do that kind of thing, but they do it so well and so frequently that it works really well for the story. And they really work on that whole initial outbreak era, and then sort of bring it forward to the future as well. And they're telling a really good story. And I think because they're keeping away a lot of, the well-known Resident Evil tropes, that it actually works a lot better than trying to sort of meld that stuff in. Yes, you've got the Weskers and stuff, but you're not seeing your Chris Redfields and Jill Valentines and all that kind of stuff, and normally you'd be like, oh, that's the stuff I want to see, but it's a really compelling story, and it's really well told. The action's really well done. The zombies are really well realized. It's just a really good show so far. I'm really enjoying it. I'm compelled. Every time you finish an episode, you just want to watch more and more. And it's now that I finished watching The Boys season 3, again, one of the greatest shows ever made. Season 3.
I still haven't seen any of it.
Oh God! Do yourself a favor and watch The Boys. That show from episode 1 through to the end of episode whatever it is in season 3. That just show just keeps getting better and better. And my God, I'm talking about Resident Evil, but just watch it all.
Oh, hold on, mate. While you've taken a breath, I can tell you that it was Lance Reddick playing Albert Wesker.
There you go. So, you'll recognise his voice very early on, and he's a very good actor. And, yes, you might gripe the fact that Albert Wesker's supposed to be a Caucasian bloke with pale skin and, bleached blonde hair. But, no, he's definitely, characterises that character very well as Albert Wesker and the scientist that he is and the experiments that he's doing and the way the outbreak all works. But if you're at all a fan of Resident Evil, definitely give that Netflix show a go, because it's so far it's lighting me up.
And how does it fare in direct contrast to Halo? Insofar as a video game adaptation into TV, does this nail it or not so much?
It's funny to say the reviews I've actually read say that this is a far better adaptation of that franchise than the Halo show was of that franchise. So and so far it definitely seems to be sticking to that as well, because you don't have any preconceived ideas about what it should be, because it is doing something different. I think it is more enjoyable as a TV show.
Yeah, okay. And is it going to tie into any of the existing franchise, or it's just like parallel dimension kind of stuff?
Hard to say. I think it is parallel dimension, but it is like the outbreak and stuff does seem to all come from the similar kind of umbrella thing. So it's got the whole Albert Wesker thing and stuff, and the scientific sort of factor, and they're developing the T virus. So it's all that same kind of terminology and all that stuff you're used to. Whether you start to see characters sort of develop, but I think the main storyline is sort of kept in the present as opposed to the past. I think the past is more telling the story of how this virus sort of came to be, and I feel like the show eventually will sort of move us to where we do just start to see just the future stuff, some present stuff, I'm all down for it, because so far what I'm seeing is been very impressive.
And how many giant women?
Not one so far. Not one giant woman winning Best Actress at the Game Awards.
Oh man.
No giant vampire women, no bully.
I love it. Any questions about Resident Evil from you, Bully, or are we done with it?
No. I think I don't watch a lot of TV shows as it is, so I know you were really excited about the Halo show that seemed to drop off over time, so maybe I might let you get through a few more episodes to see how we get towards the end of the season.
We'll see how we go, mate. There was only really one terrible episode of Halo. I will put that there. The rest was serviceable. One terrible episode that did get an infringement notice, but so far no infringement notices for Resident Evil, and so far I don't think we'll see any. But we'll wait and see. I'll report back.
Sorry,
if you come back to say that Albert Wesker's got down to the buff, then we're well and truly done then.
We'll see. I mean, the writing, it may happen. He's a good looking bloke with a good rig, so we'll wait and see.
Now, Steve, Netflix, drop their seasons all at once, don't they? So you could power through Resident Evil now if you wished immediately. Is that right?
Yes, which is good. So,
Yeah.
I spoke about The Boys before. It was all about waiting for those episodes, which are all out now, so no one's got any excuse to watch all of episodes in season 3, or even 1 and 2 for you, Troy. But, definitely Resident Evil you can binge if you so please, which I plan on doing when I get some time.
Do you think Halo would have fared better if you could have binged it instead of waiting week for week?
Yeah, it probably would have. Although, I mean, I was excited to watch Halo each week, and I don't know what the audience was like there, but I did come back each week and was excited to see the next episode, mainly for the fact that I was hoping that the next episode was better than the previous episode. Inevitably, it wasn't. But we eventually got there, and the final episode was good. So I've always said I reckon Halo season 2. We're rocking and rolling. I think for when that happens. But season 1 a little bit of a slow burn, but they've set us up nicely. I think season 2, which has already been greenlit, I think we're going to fare much better.
Perfect. I love it. In that case, the conclusion of your overtime, I'll pick it up with my overtime. I'll start with GTA 4. Now, it's the backwards compatibility Xbox 360 version running on the Series X, and we discussed it last week, so I won't bang on too much. However, I will note that the Let's Install is up on the channel.
Troy.
Yes.
Troy, can we go bowling? Can we go bowling, Troy?
Yes, cousin, of course.
Sorry to interrupt about bowling. Sorry, Troy, go ahead.
No, it's fine, Roman. The thing I found out, I did a bit of Googling as to why that install was of interest. It turns out that for a couple of years, people have been complaining about not being able to access the Ballad of Gay Tony, specifically that bit of DLC, in the backwards compatibility emulation 360. I'm stumbling on my words. I apologize. But the point is, in the video, I by chance noticed that you couldn't see the Ballad of Gay Tony, went in and just routed around the problem and fixed it. And that was the end of the video. And I thought nothing of it. But I looked at it online. Apparently people have been asking for years how to enable that bit of DLC. So if you didn't know how to do it, jump on the Let's Install video. The answer's in there by chance. The other bit I've done, was Immortals Phoenix Rising. I went back to Immortals Phoenix Rising thinking that would fill a small hole in my gaming lull, but I actually bounced off it relatively quick. I really wanted to get into it, but I'd forgotten about that humor. Originally, I thought the humor was charming, but this time I was listening to it and I had to turn it off real quick just because of that commentary. So it was a very short bit of overtime with Immortals Phoenix Rising, but still looks good on the Xbox Series X, that's for sure.
It does look good. It's one of those games that, I really enjoy the art style with it and stuff. And for me, when I tried to go back to it, was more so I say Zelda Breath of the Wild, like sort of dungeon areas where you go in, but some of those puzzles just they go on far too long. And I feel like if they were shorter, they'd be much better. But you get stuck underground where it does look very samey after a while, and I kind of just want to be out in the main world where it actually is interesting to look at. But I found myself, spending far too much time in those puzzle dungeons to progress the story, which made me fall off it, which is unfortunate because I think if they do a sequel and they balance that slightly better, then I could find myself really enjoying that game. But cool art style. As you said, the humor does sort of wear thin a little bit, but I don't see myself getting back to it.
Yeah, no, it's still on the console. I didn't immediately delete it. I've got ambitions to get back to it, but I don't think they'll ever be quite realised. But that's it for my overtime. Over to you, Bully.
Look, the boss was a bit tight on the purse string this week, so
that can happen.
Haven't been paid out too much. Although having said that, I'm about to get paid out for this. It's not on the run. Well, it wasn't on the rundown until Lunky decided to throw it in there. Released on the Game Pass last week was a couple of fairly, I won't say cheap games, but a couple of cheap games with cheap achievements in them. Paw Patrol, which I jumped into, and look, it's not too bad. But I will say, some of the achievements are fairly easy. I did go through the list in the end once I sort of worked my way through the game. There are some in there that are going to take hours and hours of grinding, so I've pretty much given up on that one and moved on. But I haven't been paid. I expect to pay out now.
Excellent. Just a question on the Paw Patrol. Bully, were you able to solve the riddle of the English voices? I couldn't flick it to the American voices, which my boys are used to from the TV show. I didn't know if maybe you'd come across it and fixed it.
Oh, look, I just thought it was part of the whether it was part of the localization. I didn't really look into it, but the Ryder, is it Ryder?
Yeah, yep. Unfortunately, I can say that real quickly. Yes.
He asks, "Is it Ryder?" Knowing full well that it's Ryder. This guy.
I've got three children. I've got 3 children. What do you expect?
4 children at your house, including you, with his games on your bloody achievement list.
Well, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because you look at the leaderboard for the G.E.A. group, and someone's sitting well on top. And
Mate, you look at this. You got Paw Patrol and Peppa Pig both start with P and P. I'm going to call you Piss Paw.
Well,
just to go along with that theme.
I'll correct you there. I never played Peppa Pig, so we'll pull it up short there. But having said that, I've said it time and time again. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you win the championship. Nobody remembers how you won it. They just remember that your name's in the book, and then you move on. That's all that matters.
I think in this account they will remember, and they'll remember you being piss poor. That's what it is.
I can.
I want to challenge for bullying. You can't shit me here. What are the Paw Patrol puppy names? And if you know them, you have to say them. Come on, you go now.
Well, there's Chase, Rubble. There's I think there are 2 others. That I can recall off the top of my head.
Others.
I can throw you Sky. There's Chase, Rubble, and Sky, and I'm blanking on the rest though.
There's Liberty.
Who the hell is Liberty? That's some new age Paw Patrol puppy. God, you're on another level. Now the other one's Rocky. The recycling Rocky. Come on, guys. Come on.
Rocky.
I don't even download these crap games to my console. I don't know what these puppies are. I only watched this show when my son was 1, and that's been 6 years ago. Really? Come on,
Marshall.
You played the game yesterday. Come on.
I can say, though, to anyone out there with kids, Paw Patrol and Peppa Pig are both being loved a lot by my boys in this house. So they are winners if you've got young kids. Definitely get on them. And also on Game Pass.
Young kids, not 40-year-old men.
Trophies up on the wall. That's all that matters. The trophies on the
wall. All right, then. I think that can only mean one thing. Guys, I think
it's news time.
You have the right to remain newsworthy. I've got to do one of those. Bang! Dark Pictures Studio, Supermassive, have been fully acquired. This story sourced from the Video Games Chronicles. Steve, I hope you've got some more details for me.
I do. So obviously our Until Dawn developers, The Quarry, I've spoken about this on post G.E.As about how much I love The Quarry.
Now, are you nominating
Supermassive game?
Are you nominating Supermassive for Developer of the Year? Do I remember that correctly?
They're up there, I think. They've done a lot of good work, and I don't think they've had the budget of a lot of other studios. I could be wrong there, but given the fact they've just been bought out now, I think Nordic Studios only own 30% stake in the studio until now, with owned 100%. So that will only bring more money to that studio, which hopefully will mean bigger titles like The Quarry, like Until Dawn, and I think obviously we've got a new version of their Dark Anthology, or whatever it's called. Am I right there? I feel like I'm
Dark Pictures,
wrong.
the Dark Pictures Anthology. Yep.
I know there's another one of those due to come out. I'm not sure if it's this year or early next year. But no, this is good news. I think more money for this studio. I think what they do at the top of their tier. Quarry, one of my favourite games this year, one of my favourite experiences this year, and I think if I get more of this kind of experience, then I am more than happy. And if they've got more of a budget to make these kind of games, I am all down for it, especially as they seem to pump these things out pretty quick, because I feel like we're getting a game from this studio every year. So if we can get something the quality of The Quarry and their Dark Anthology series, then I'm all for it.
Perfect. Any points on that one, Billy, for you, mate?
Look, I suppose just echoing what Steve said, I reckon the more money, the better, because the quality that they're pumping out at the moment with their limited sort of budget is, I'd say, near enough AAA, to be honest, with the work they're doing. So the more resources that can be put into that studio and the more effort and all that sort of stuff, I reckon the better.
Fair call, mate. Fair call. All right. Story 2 this evening. Tony Hawk, also on Video Games Chronicle, Tony Hawk is building the metaverse's biggest skate park for a new NFT project. This is scary, scary stuff. I don't like a lot that's going on in that title. Steve, do you think they'll be including support for the Ride controller?
I'm going to go with a no, Troy, on that. No one should ever talk of that controller ever again. I'm sure it had probably more lawsuits than it sold copies back in the day. So I don't think we'll see that. But I'm down with more Tony Hawk stuff. I mean, we enjoyed Tony Hawk remake
yes.
for what it was, and I wish we were getting some more Tony Hawk Underground and stuff remakes. But given that studio's been bought up by Activision now, I don't think we're going to see that.
You might see it in a Call of Duty map somewhere down the line.
Yeah, you might do, but I don't know. There's another story about skating games coming up soon that I'm much more excited for. But I don't know about the whole NFT thing. I think a bit of a fad going on, and I think a lot of people jumped on it. I'm not sure how well this is going to do, to be honest.
Yeah, well, when I see Metaverse and NFT project in the same headline, it sounds like someone's just out for their venture capital money. I'm not sure that the end product will be very enjoyable. All right, story 3. Also, Video Games Chronicle. Man, they're featuring this week. All right, EA makes Mass Effect and Dragon Age DLC free on Origin. Hunky dunky. Have you gone into the trenches?
No, I haven't gone into the trenches. Obviously a fan of Mass Effect, and I haven't seen this story until right now, to be honest. I read through most of our doc, but didn't see this one. So I'm not really au fait on what's going on with this one. So you might be able to tell us more, or maybe even bully.
Oh, no, I can, mate. Basically, they just went back and there was DLC for Mass Effect and Dragon Age that could only be purchased through whatever their currency was called, their virtual currency, which they've pulled the currency, and now if it was of any cost, it's now free. So all the DLC that was behind that currency is now free, but you need the Origin launcher. And anyone who's into PC gaming will tell you that the Origin launcher isn't much fun anyway. So I'm not sure it's worth putting yourself through the hassle of logging into the Origin launcher to get the free DLC. But if you're so inclined, it is available.
Oh, good.
Story 4 this evening. Now, this one is from what Push Square bring us. PS Stars digital collectibles are definitely not NFTs, Sony stresses. Now, I've got the blog post here, Steve, but do you want to walk us through it?
Yeah, so it very much looked like NFTs when this was first announced, but they sort of Sony declared that that's not the case. That you are unlocking sort of, collectibles for your, your whatever, PlayStation
Home.
Whatever.
PlayStation Home.
Yeah, like I could see that working really well. Like there was what's it called, Astrobot, that came out on PlayStation 5's launch. Did a really cool thing where you sort of found PlayStations and different memorabilia from the PlayStation era and kept it in like a room and stuff like that. So I think if it's something like that where you had like like PlayStation Home, where you could like visit other people's rooms and see what they unlock. Like if you unlock a certain platinum trophy, then you get this kind of thing for that game, and it goes into your cabinet or something. I could see it being really cool, and the fact that they've gone out and say it's not NFTs and stuff, and it is just collectibles and stuff for games, I could see that working. I mean, Xbox has done really well with their whole achievement thing, where you earn certain achievements, certain games, you get game points and stuff that you can spend on things in store. So this seems like it could sort of go down that track with maybe a more tangible thing to show for it, which I could see people really enjoying. I could see myself going for it if it was retrospective and you could get stuff given to
That'd
you
be
for
nice.
you've already obtained. Like I would love to get like myself a Celine statue or something for get the platinum in the Returnal and stuff like that. That could be cool.
You did get a nice, what was it, 3 or 4 avatar pictures when you platinumed Returnal, assuming you checked your email and redeemed the code.
Well, that's right. I don't think I did that because I definitely don't have those things. But I do. I am currently rocking a pretty cool Celine picture as my profile pic on PlayStation 5. But whether that came with getting the platinum, I'm not entirely sure. But I definitely put it on there after I got the platinum. So whether it was part of that, I'm not 100% sure. But it'd be cool. Like this, if they could do this right, I think it's good. It's just the way the story was delivered initially. I think a lot of people sort of got their backs up and got their pitchforks out. Like, what are you doing, PlayStation?
Yes,
I sort of read it the other way as to what exactly what Microsoft are doing is that you earn the points that you can redeem for things in the PS Store, or you can use it to purchase or go towards your monthly whatever tier of PS Plus you're on. So that's where the way I read it to start with. So I was probably a bit more optimistic about what's there. I missed the whole collectibles and NFTs part in that story.
Well, I think to the point, mate, there wasn't NFTs. Everyone just assumed it was because of the climate we live in. Here's the actual blog post here. But yeah, to Bully's point, it does sound very much like the Microsoft one, and certainly on Microsoft. Like, I've just been paying for my Xbox Live Gold, it used to be, but now Ultimate subscription just by earning those reward points and then redeeming them for time. So it's a system that feeds itself really well. So it didn't read like that at all, but in that light, it's a perfect system, and I'm glad they're bringing it in. I think it's an excellent addition. I look forward to it rolling out. Now, as I understand, you can sign up, but it hasn't started. It doesn't start till, is it August?
Yeah, I think it was August. I think it's not too far off.
Cool, just around the corner.
I mean, we'll probably. I don't know if that's a worldwide thing. Obviously, Australia saw a slightly delayed launch on the whole PlayStation Plus stuff. So whether we see it later in the rest of the world remains to be seen. But we'll wait and see. I mean, I'm all for this kind of stuff. It's stupid that us as gamers, enjoy this kind of thing and we'll chase trophies just for the sake of having a trophy. But you know what? It's fun to do.
It sure is. I kind of hope they prioritise getting the PS3 emulation running in Australia though before this system. I would rather them spend their time on that one.
They have to, don't they? Come on, Xbox has got their act together. We're streaming Xbox games on our tablets right now. I could do it right now if I wanted to. I'm not going to because it'll ruin the bandwidth, and I want to go stream with you guys.
It's got to be just waiting for them to deploy a data center in Australia. So I got no idea where you'd go to look to see how their data center distribution's rolling out. But I reckon that'd be the leading edge. All right, story 5 from IGN. The Halo Infinite co-op beta is live. Unky dunky. This has got you written all over it, mate. Have you tried it?
This does. I haven't tried it. I wanted to. I did sign up for the flight program, which I did initially for the Halo beta as well. So I probably could get into it now if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I saw this thing, I had a whole bunch of other stuff going on, so I haven't had a chance to actually try and sign in and do it. But this is exciting. I think it went later than it was supposed to. I think it was due out the start of last week, but it was still hadn't gone live as of like Thursday or something. But I think they've got it up and running now. Which is quite good. It's good to see they've finally got that thing running because I think a lot of people are looking for reasons to go back into Halo, and this is probably one of them.
Did I read it correct, Steve, that it's only the host that gets to keep the progress made, though, in the co-op at this stage?
Yeah, I believe that is the case, yes.
That's a bit of a black eye, I think. That's a bit unfortunate.
A little bit. I mean, the good sign to this is, though, it's not just the co-op stuff. They have added replay mission mode as well, so you can now replay missions from the campaign, which I think was a gripe going into the other game, where if you wanted to, like, if you had certain skulls you wanted to find, you had to replay the whole game. You couldn't just go into missions to find out that skull. So one of the bandana skull to give you unlimited ammo, you have to play, which I've done. Play through the whole game again, and then you get that in one of the closing levels of the game. And if you miss that, then you have to obviously play through the whole game again to get that. So I have played the game through twice fully now. Once obviously to finish it, the second time to get that bandana, and now playing through obviously my third playthrough on Legendary solo with that bandana activated. But I would love to play this game co-op. I think it looks like they finally have it working, which is good. I'm not sure what date we're going to see on a full release for that, but I have jumped back into Halo in the sort of last sort of week or so just to give it a go. I've done some cloud stuff with it. I've loaded it back up on the console, and it is still a really fun game to play. It's just going to be even more fun to jump in there, especially on those hard difficulties with someone else. And it looks like finally we're about to see that, and I'm definitely hoping we're going to see this within like the next month or so, I think.
Yeah, I think I might have beta access, as you were saying earlier, mate, about the Halo Insider. I think I'm in that program. My point is, Steve, maybe if you are available for a stream this week or next, maybe we put Halo Infinite Co-op to the top of that list.
That is a very good option. I will definitely check that out. Maybe even tomorrow morning if I can. I'll check the Insider on the Xbox and see if I've got access, because I should have. I definitely checked it out on the on my phone the other day, and it did say I was part of the insider program. It's just a matter of downloading that access through the console, and I believe it. I don't think any of your progress you do through the beta carries over to the real release of the game.
No, they've said that explicitly. That is correct. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be good just to check out to see how it works and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, we'll see how we go. I'll see how I go tomorrow morning and try and get the insider program. We can definitely tee that up.
I love it. I'm very excited. Looking forward to going hands-on with it myself. But how about you, Billy? Are you a big Halo Infinite co-op guy? Does it have your number?
Not at all. I've not played the single player, the multiplayer, the anything player. Halo's, I've never really gotten into it after the first one. It's just never been my cup of tea.
Fair enough, mate. In that case,
it's on Game Pass. It's on Game Pass. Billy, do yourself a favour. Just install it, mate. That single player campaign actually is really good.
And the outside levels are great.
You keep telling me, but I've got Paw Patrol to play, man.
Oh, gosh, definitely.
All right. Next up, we're back to Video Games Chronicle, and as promised, it's something to do with skating. Skate 4 is free to play, and it's officially just titled Skate. Unky Dunky. This is the one you're excited for, yeah, man?
This is. I was a real big fan of Skate 3 and have since reinstalled it on my Xbox with Game Pass. And I think it's seen a bit of a resurgence as well. I think they even were like advertising on the game store recently for the expansions and stuff to Skate 3 to install on your Xbox. I remember seeing that pop up on my Xbox. That's a bit weird to see, like, it's such an old game being promoted through the main store. But anyway, here we're at. This is where we're at. And initially I was like, oh, free-to-play Skate, like it raises a few eyebrows into free-to-play stuff. A lot of free-to-play stuff, like where's all the money coming from, and they're going to be asking us to pay for cosmetics and all that kind of stuff. But I actually think the Skate, and with the Skate community in the way it's such a creator-based thing where people go in and create sort of runs and all that kind of stuff, and such a community-driven game, that I think the free-to-play model is actually really good for this, and it can evolve the genre as opposed to being a Skate 4 where it's a one-and-done kind of, not necessarily one and done, but when you put a number on a game, it's sort of finite in the way it's presented. But if you just put it as Skate and it's an online thing, it can evolve and it can adapt and it can do stuff for the audience that it wants to do, and the audience can evolve with the game, and the game can evolve with the audience. So I actually think this is quite a smart move.
I've got a better name for them: Skate Infinite.
Yes, that's. Yeah, I'm surprised to not see that name, but that's not necessarily by name, but definitely by definition. I reckon this is what this game is. It's so Skate can live on and not have to worry about further iterations, and they can just iterate on this version of Skate. So if the online stuff's not too egregious and the loot boxes per se aren't too egregious, and I think this could really take off. And I think this is the right way to probably do an online integrated world within the Skate franchise. So I actually think it's going to work really well. I think it'll do really well globally, and I think everyone that's been sort of clamoring for Skate, I think this is probably the right way to do it.
Now, would you rather play this in VR or Tony Hawk's VR one?
I don't know if any of these are right for VR, to be honest. I'd probably go sick with the amount of moves you got to do, but probably this one, because Tony Hawk's, you're doing like 720s, 1080s and stuff in the sky. I don't think I've ever pulled one of those off in Skate. Skate's slightly more grounded, and slower paced and methodical. So I'd probably stick to my Skate if I had to go VR. I'm definitely not jumping on that ride controller no matter what you tell me to do. I like my ankles intact. Thank you.
What about you, Bully? Are you a Skate 4 fan? Is this on your radar?
No, not at all. I remember playing the original Tony Hawk's back in the late 90s and have had very little interest whatsoever. I'm still concerned, even though they've come out and said it's not pay to win. All of these types of games, I just get really concerned. And exactly what you said, Steve, is how are they paying for it? If they're
Apex Legends.
50, yeah, well, I mean,
it is EA, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, that's what. If you're going to pump $50 to $100 million into developing a game, publishing a game, marketing a game, you're going to want a fair chunk of that return fairly quickly, and then start making money on it. Where are you getting that from, other than a pay to win?
Well, I don't know. I don't think it's pay to win. I think with EA and with the brands and stuff that you bring, I think you could easily offer stuff like branded boards, branded gear and equipment, t-shirts, shorts, whatever. People are going to pay for that stuff anyway, just have their characters look a certain way. I think you could easily make a lot of money just with cosmetic stuff in a game like this that doesn't necessarily lean on pay to win. So my thought would be that a lot of this stuff's cosmetic. I'd love that to be the case. I'd love that not to be paying for certain, abilities that you can unlock and stuff. That I'm hoping that's all in game, but I could easily see this just being a cosmetic thing and it's still making a lot of money.
Yeah, I reckon
quite possibly. Sorry, Troy. Quite possibly that could be the case. With all these types of games, I just get really worried off the bat when I remember back to the Crash racing that they re-released and said, no, there won't be anything in there. And a month later, it was pay to win.
Well, I don't know if you've been following it all, Bully, but recently Diablo Immortal came out, and I haven't read one story about people complaining about pay to win in that, and that's free to play.
Not one story. Until you apparently hit a certain level cap in that game. But again, that's another, like, that game has made a lot, like, people are still spending money on that game.
It's a million a day at the cash register. $1 million a day.
You can say what you will about that game. It is still an enjoyable game. And if people are going to pay that money, then blame the people paying the money. Don't blame the developers. They have clearly just done what they need to do and they're making money. So I'm all for it.
I don't hold it against anyone. Like, look at how well Epic Games have done with the Fortnite money. Like, that enabled them to do so much more development. So many games that we never would have seen have come to life because Fortnite did have so many people pumping money into it. They were able to make the Unreal Engine free. Like, it used to have a 15 grand barrier to entry or something. It's now free, and you only have to pay them after your game grosses like $100,000 or something like. And a bunch of games got developed off the back of it. So I honestly think it is Apex Legends' success paying for this, but that's fine. Like, I don't think you need to be concerned off the bat that it'll be pay to win. I think Epic will be covering the bills for a while. Not Epic, excuse me, Apex.
Just on that, can I point out the ridiculous stature of someone who is an absolute whale pumping a free-to-play game?
I was going to say that all those idiots that pay for all those skins in Fortnite, those idiots. I'm one of those idiots, I'll admit it.
All right. And then the final story of the evening. This one is from GameSpot. Bungie is now officially a PlayStation studio. Sony's closed the deal. They now own Bungie. Steve, how many people did they lay off and who got repositioned to where?
I'm not sure.
No, Sony went in saying, we're going to be hands off. And true to their word, I haven't heard of anything happening.
No, I haven't heard of anything. Obviously a good deal for Sony. Remains to be seen what happens. Do we get a new Destiny that's exclusive to PlayStation? Do we get a new franchise altogether from Bungie? Who knows? But obviously PlayStation has the monopoly on that, so we'll have to wait and see what that deal comes to. Obviously, they're going to want something for the money they've paid for it. So, yeah, I'd be very interested to see whether that's a new franchise or whether I don't think Destiny, being as big as it is, does go solo platform because I don't think they can do it with as big as it's got. So, I believe Bungie will probably bring a new franchise to the platform, but what that remains to be seen. It's probably going to be a first-person shooter, let's be honest, but
every chance, mate. Have we heard anywhere? What have they given us long-term view of Destiny 2? Like, does their roadmap go out beyond a year, say? Like, do they have the next 3 years of content announced? Or I got no idea. I don't follow it.
Yeah, I don't have any idea. I haven't followed it. I know they've got a fair bit of content planned for Destiny 2, and Destiny 2 has always been the it's another one I think could do the whole like Escape thing where it's like just call it Destiny, because at the moment by putting a number on it, it's a bit weird calling it Destiny 2 when we've had so many iterations, and essentially what we've got now is a Destiny 3 with all the expansions we've had and the iterations it had. It really is sitting at that next sort of tier of Destiny. So why not just go out and call it Destiny Infinite? Because that's essentially what it is. So, whether that's what we get next, we get Destiny Infinite, and they just incorporate all that stuff anyway, because let's face it, most of the content from Destiny 1 is in Destiny 2 now anyway. So,
Yes.
I'm excited. Like, it doesn't feel much better to play a first-person shooter than a Bungie first-person shooter. They've got that down. Like, it doesn't, Back 4 Blood feels really good, but Destiny is where it's at when it comes to first-person shooting. Like, there's no other better feeling when it comes to playing those games. Obviously, they honed it with Halo, and they've only improved it with Destiny. So we'll have to wait and see what they bring to us next for PlayStation's console.
The cynic in me, Steve, says that PlayStation now owning it will just be telling them, all right, boys, whatever you've committed to is what you're doing, and that's it for Destiny 2, and now you're spinning up our exclusive franchise, whatever your next first shooter is. They had to declare that, obviously, Destiny 2 would say cross-platform, to get the acquisition to go through. But now that it's all happened, there's nothing stopping them going, okay, now stop Destiny 2, move on to the next thing that will be exclusive. And that's where they'll generate the money from buying them,
Yeah, we're moving on to Halo Destiny.
All right. As we always do here on the Gaming Enforcement Agency, we wrap up the news with the new releases coming out this week from Game Informer. Top of the pile this week, As Dusk Falls, coming to Xbox Series X and X, Xbox One, PC, and I can confirm it's also in Game Pass. Have you guys any interest in this one? Steve, it looks like it might be one for you, buddy.
It's very story-driven. I think we covered this during one of the event things we had for
E3 wrap-up, if you will.
Yeah, I believe it was. So I was not a huge fan of the art style, the way it sort of done that whole like framey kind of thing going on. I have heard that the game is quite compelling and the story is quite good. So being on Game Pass, I think I will give it a go. I would love to play this on my Stadia, but apparently it's not coming out on that. Xbox will have to be, and being Game Pass, I can see myself giving this a go. And in fact, I will give it this a go because, content.
And Bully, I read there's a couple of cheap points you can pick up in the first level. So will that be enough to get you to install it, do you think?
Oh, whatever keeps you on top of old Unky Dunky, that's all I need. I did actually have a look at this. The story seems interesting. Like, it's a split over a 20-year thing, and so whatever you do in one time era then affects what happens in the other time era as well. So it's sort of along the lines of those supermassive games like your Quarry and that sort of stuff, where one thing will affect something else, it will affect something else, the old butterfly effect. So I saw it was coming out tomorrow. I'll be honest, I've already pre-installed it on the Xbox. I reckon that I'll be jumping in and have a look at that one tomorrow.
What time is that? Have you seen the time it's releasing tomorrow?
It's normally mid-afternoon Australian time, so I think normally about 2 or 3 o'clock it'll go live. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So I have to wait till I get home from work, unfortunately, to delve into that.
I'm on tomorrow morning, and I'll get some of those cheap achievements out of the way.
Nice work.
In between Paw Patrol, you hack.
Hey, he's on a roll, mate. Do you know the install size of As Dusk Falls by any chance?
It was pretty big, I think. Let me just check, but I think it was somewhere around. I think it was somewhere around 50 to 60 gig, if I remember off the top of my head.
I would have thrown money on the mid-20s, but there you have it.
Sorry, Troy, I'm still laughing at your on a roll joke. It's seamless. I love it.
Thank you very much.
Well played.
Well, Bully seeks the inspo. Next up, Endling, Extraction is Forever. Extinction, excuse me, not extraction. Extinction is Forever. Does anyone know anything?
It's a sequel to Startling. This game was released. I think they showed this at the Xbox or whatever showcase. It's a game with a fox. Like, looks very limbo-y, kind of like platformy style game. Very stylish in its presentation. I remember my wife walking in and seeing, like, "Oh, it looks really cute." So probably not a game for me, but we'll see. It definitely does look cute, and being on Xbox, it looks Game Passy. I'm not 100% sure. I couldn't say whether it was Game Pass or not, but definitely worth a look if it is, I reckon.
Yeah, okay, we'll check it out. Bully, is that one grabbing your interest at all, mate?
No, not really. Although I think you just get a bit salty, Steve, that your wife says your character in the tennis is ugly and finds the fox cute. And I think you just need to save the salt for the fish and chips fella.
What did you say? Fish and chips last night. But yeah, you're on point.
All right. Next up, like.
Wait. Funny. So just to interject, funny story. I actually got 2 dim sims as well, steamed dim sims with soy sauce, and completely forgot to eat them. And then half an hour later, my wife's like, "You realize you got dim sims?" And then she's like, "Oh, are they still warm?" And she was like, "Yes." And I took one bite, not still warm, guys, not still warm whatsoever. They quickly got spat out and didn't eat them. So I was very disappointed in myself that I missed out on the dim sim achievement, unfortunately.
That is unfortunate. All right. Next up, we have Fallen Angel to Switch and PC, and I know nothing about this. Does anyone have any insight?
It's on Switch
and PC. It comes out on the 19th. No idea. Following that is Into the Breach coming to iOS and Android. I feel like that was a game that came out in 2007 originally.
Yeah, sequel to Onto the Breach. So this time they're going in the breach. This definitely was. I think it was a PC release. It got good reviews. Obviously, Game Informer gave it 9.25. I did some looking into it. I think IGN gave it a 9. It's a strategy game from memory, like a top-down isometric-y thing with like robots and stuff. Definitely not my style of game, but I could see it working very well for the iOS and Android. But I definitely won't be playing it. Let's be honest.
No, and at this point, if you've got an iOS or an Android device, why are you playing Game Pass on it and streaming stuff? That's the way of the future, people. Next up, we have Stray, PS5, PS4, and PC, coming out July 19th. Straight into PlayStation Plus, if memory serves.
Did you say stray into or straight into?
I said straight into. I wish I had have said stray into.
Oh, that's all right. I did. This game, to put away the whale for a sec, when they go from what to meow. This game kind of looks cool. I'm interested to play as a cat. I've got plenty of friends that love their cats. I can see this, especially now that it's part of PlayStation Plus, getting in there. We are definitely installing this tomorrow and getting around as a cat.
Very good. Bully, have you... No, I think we both said we're not particularly interested, haven't we, in the past?
Oh, I think I wasn't until I said it was free on PS Plus. So I think just for that fact alone, I'll have to check it out. Who knows? I might be surprised.
Yeah,
you can only die 9. You can only die 9 times in the game.
Boom, boom.
Zing! I love it. And it's a platformer, so I won't even see the end of level 1.
That's right. Yeah, you got 9 lives, Troy. You can use them well.
All right, then we have Bright Memory Infinite. Someone's taken our joke. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS, and Switch coming out July 21st. Does anyone know anything?
Surely it must be free to play if it's infinite. No, I know a little bit. I know they brought out Bright Memory. I remember the Xbox Series X first came out. There was like their first game you could download. I think it was free on Xbox like that. But Infinite is the sequel to that game. It's a first-person shooter with melee and shooting and stuff. And graphically, apparently, it's supposed to be really good on PC. It looks really good anyway. I'm actually really excited about this, and I feel like it might be Game Pass, because I feel like the first one was free on Game Pass as well. The fact that it's got a 7, I'm more than happy at the moment to play a game that's swimming in 7s.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a cool sort of flashy first-person shooter with a bit of gore, which is what this looks like. I'm excited. I did not know this was coming now, but it's one of those ones that I've had my eye on, so I'm excited to give it a go.
Very good, mate. Sorry, question without notice. Do you have any idea who the developers are and if they've done anything else I'd know from previously?
They did Bright Memory, the first one. The developers, FYQD Studio, publishes Playism, so they don't really ring a bell at all.
No, nothing jumping out at me.
Nothing jumping out at all. So I am not 100% sure, but I'm excited to play this one.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. You'll have to report back on next episode. Let us know how it goes. Then we have Coromon Switch, July 21st. Coromon?
Coromon, one might say it's a rip-off of Pokemon, but that's just me being facetious and looking at the title and looking at the weird-looking characters we've got on there. I could be completely wrong, but I'm going to 100% say this game is a rip-off of Pokemon.
Very good. That could be. Then live or live, live or live. Live or live?
That's definitely a weird one. Live. I'm going to go with live alive is probably my interpretation of it. Bully, what do you reckon?
Live Alive, and it's a remake of an old SNES game. I am all over this one. And we'll be playing it 100%.
Well, Game Informer haven't given us a score, Bully, so can you give us one?
Look, it's been probably 30 years. I don't think the original ever came out, but it's been about 30 years since I've seen it. The original, but basically it's the old 16-bit art style, branching narratives. You play as I think it's 8 different characters that you sort of work through, and then each of their individual stories then intertwines as you work through the story.
Okay.
I think you'll find it's probably got a lot more appeal overseas. As I said, I know it was a Japan release. I'm not sure if it was ever released in North America, the old SNES version, but definitely there is a lot of interest out there for it.
Perfect.
Question: Is it weeby at all?
Nah, it's a Japanese game. It's got some weeb about it. I'm sure.
Give me a percentage.
10%.
Okay, 10. So not 100% weebish. How much are you going to pay for this game? You said you're all about it. Are you going to buy a digital or a physical copy of this game?
Well, but you know full well that I don't do digital. So I will get I will wait for the physical, which comes out the same date anyway. So I'm just going to wait for that to get either picked up or delivered. But as I said, really looking forward to this one.
Excellent.
Nice. I do notice there's a character right down the bottom that kind of looks like a dumpling with sunglasses. With glasses and a backwards hat. Like, I don't know anything about him, but he's quickly becoming my favorite character of all time.
My only issue is if I jump over to the Switch and start playing, is there's a potential that you're going to start moving a little bit closer to the achievements leaderboard, and I might have to. You're going to force me into Peppa Pig at that point.
Well, fingers crossed they delay it by 2 weeks and just move it into next month then for you, Bully.
Bully just making an excuse. He says force, but he doesn't mean I'm forcing him into it. He loves it. He loves that so much.
This can only mean one thing, guys. Who
will fight? Well, let's start off.
All right, the standoff it is. You've called it. Steve, please continue. Give us the intro, mate. Who is watching who this evening?
So first up, we got the best quality of life feature. This comes about because a couple of weeks ago, I started doing the unthinkable and playing video games on a tablet and playing games that you probably should play on a console, but not. And I played Apex Legends on the mobile version, and I shouldn't say that it's better, because I did read something today where I think maybe there's options available on the console edition as well as a setting in accessibility features as well, which made me reconsider playing that game on console.
Now that you've said that, I'm going to go and install it tonight.
Yeah, if that's the case, I will probably do the same, because this changes the game. Auto pickup in a game, especially like this, PUBG, and the article I read actually was PUBG adds auto pickup thanks to Apex Legends adding auto pickup. So maybe it is a thing. But it definitely changed the way I thought about Apex, because my least favorite part of this game is literally picking up stuff and deciding what I need, what ammo, what gun I should pick up. And the mobile version of the game just does it for you, and all you have to concentrate on is the shooting, which is the fun part of the game. Yep. So when this was added to the game, especially the same thing happened with Call of Duty on mobile device as well, like enjoyable experience, because it does literally pick up the gun for you. And my kill death ratio has never been greater. You might want to call me a noob and whatever, be trying to use a controller on a tablet device to play these games. But you know what? I'm playing with other people. They have those options. If they want to play a baby, do it yourself as well, because you know what? That's an option for you. It's an option for me. I'm going to use that option. If I'm better than you, so be it.
I agree, mate. And auto pickup, I'd say that's bled across all my gaming. Now, I was playing Rage 2, as we were discussing earlier, and I'm like, this needs auto pickup. Pretty much anything in a game now, it should be automatic for me if it's pickup. I absolutely love the feature. What, though, is the feature? Oh, sorry, Bully, anything from you, mate, on the auto pickup? Are you familiar with it? Have you got an example to use yourself? Because I know you don't play those mobile ones.
No, I refuse to play mobile games. Look, some of the ones, I can't remember off the top of my head one that did it, but I know that when you're trying to play games like Apex and you're trying to, do I need that gun? Is that better than one I've got? Oh, no, hang on, I'll switch it around. And then someone invariably stands up behind you and shoots you in the back of the head. So the auto pickup probably is not a bad option.
It is. It's a very good option. Now, the next good option we have, Steve, what is it?
It's auto equip, and obviously you guys have been playing a fair bit of the Ascent recently, so you might be able to tell me all about it. About a Troy or Bully?
Oh yeah, the Ascent, it's perfect. It does it for the first time you get any item, like be it a transmog or a not transmog, sorry, armor piece, a weapon, or what are those mutations called? I'm blanking on what they call them in game now. But it just auto equips into the slot, so it just auto improves as you go. You pick up a better gun, suddenly you're firing a better gun without having to dive through 6 menus or something crazy. So I just love the seamlessness of the auto equip myself. Big fan.
Yeah, great. It's been in games. I can't name games specifically, but yeah, anytime that it lets you just pick up the gun or ability or equipment that you want to use straight away and just attaches it to your character, that's what I want. I don't need to go into menus and attach that stuff to my character. Just give me the best stuff I've got. I think Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise, it doesn't auto equip stuff, but you can, every time you pick up all new gear, you just go into the menu and hit one button. It just auto equips all the best stuff that you've picked up, which I really appreciate because I don't really care about going in and sort of working out what's going to work well with what. Just give me the best I've got. Just one button, I'm done. Like, that's one thing about Stranger of Paradise I think is really good. Apart from the fact they got a complete overhaul and the graphics now look really good and the game's actually really fun. But it doesn't sort of make you spend time in menus picking out what you should equip. It's just one button, done. Get my best weapon, my best equipment for all of my characters, not even just the character you're equipped with. Every character just gets equipped with the best stuff you've got. So, no, one of the best things, or quality of life improvements in games for mine.
And here's a pitch. EA, go backwards and add it to Bioshock for me. That'd be awesome in not Bioshock, excuse me. Mass Effect. Mass Effect, I'm saying.
Oh, that'd be great, wouldn't it? The amount of stuff you pick up in Mass Effect, you spend half the time in the menus just picking out what's the best thing, what looks the best at the same time as well.
That, and you've got to do it for your entire squad. It's not even one character.
Yes.
All right, next up, Halo Shield regen, Steve. Who doesn't love that?
Oh, I don't know whether Halo was the first, but a lot of games have since had either health regen, shield regen, get behind cover, that shit just like... It just regens. I'm sorry if that sounded like my whale, but it's very similar.
No, I actually thought Sam Fisher was sneaking up behind me.
Hey, the goggles. No, it's definitely one of those features that has crept its way into games. That the need for picking up health packs and stuff. We spoke about health packs. I think it was last week in terms of things in game, tropes in games, but. This is one of those ones that I think is done away with health packs. There's no need for that. Of course, you could just sit behind cover and regen health, just like real life. If I got shot, if I just lie down for a bit, god damn, that health regen, I'm back in the game. That's what it's all about. So definitely one of those it's one of those skills in games or quality of life improvements in games that we don't see in real life, but in video games, it's one of those things that we really do appreciate when it comes to these fast-paced games. We don't have time to be picking up health kits or holding X to apply health or go to bed and sleep. Just let us regenerate health by sitting behind cover, Troy and Bully.
I agree. Bully, any thoughts on the old auto-regenning shield, mate?
It's funny you say that because I thought for a long time it's a bit ridiculous. And at some games, the health regens or the shield regens a bit faster than others to the point where you become almost invincible. But then I mentioned last week, I was playing a bit of Serious Sam 4. It was a Game Pass game, and that's got the old school. You've got to find the health packs and all the rest of it, and just the running around while you're having everyone shooting at you, and then trying to find a health pack that is hidden away somewhere to keep yourself going. It takes you right out of the game. So it was something that I was probably against. It's just something that we've sort of moved through over the years that you don't really think about it now. The old health pack or having to find them just almost doesn't exist anymore. Although I think it's a bit ridiculous in some circumstances, like I think we mentioned last week. Someone's chopped my arm off, so let's go and eat a ham, and I'll be right.
Have a sandwich or a nap, you'll be right.
Indeed. All right, option 4 this evening, Steve, excuse me, Celeste, easy mode.
Easy mode / accessibility features. Celeste was one of the first ones I remember playing where you could literally just chuck this down to its assist mode and get through the game no matter what, because it made it so easy for you. But it was one of those games that the story was actually really good for a platformer, and to be able to sort of ram it all down if you wanted to just to get through it was just such a cool feature. I never used it because I'm a hashtag gamer. I got through that game without those accessibility or assist mode features, but it's there for those people that sort of don't have those coordination things when it comes to platformers, Troy.
Yeah.
Like even stuff like Rogue Legacy 2 recently came out, and it had they've got their like assist mode where you could sort of tweak different modes and stuff in that game to make that game as easy or as hard as you like. And I just like that games are now at that point where they're not penalising you for doing that as well. You can still unlock achievements for finishing the game. It's not penalising you for chucking on easy. It's just giving you the ability to play the game and actually finish the game to what your skill level or ability level is.
Yes.
And I really like that. And another way is like Last of Us 2 won an award for accessibility features, and I will go down and say that I obviously finished that game without using pretty much any of those accessibility features because I'm a hashtag gamer. But like you can make the game as easy as you like, and they do not penalise you at all for any of those things you can do. You can make the game so easy. You can identify hidden stuff within the game to go find it easier, which is really good for that platinum trophy if you really want to do it. Again, didn't need it. Again, did unlock, did get the platinum trophy in Last of Us 2, Game of the Year 2019, 2020, whatever it was, 2020.
2020 sounds right, yeah.
Just I really like this sort of trend in games, and it's really sort of you do find it missing when there are games that are hard. Like we were talking about earlier in the show, where we're talking about the Ascent, where even on easy mode, that game is bloody brutal. Like it'd be nice just to have an even easier mode, or just something that could tweak that thing where you're just not dying constantly, just so you can actually enjoy the aesthetics of the game without dying all the time. So I see this being a thing that sort of moves forward in the future, and accessibility features becoming, day in, day out with games where like straight from day one, where no trophies locked behind a difficulty level, anything like Naughty Dog's really good at it, like Uncharted 4 and even the collection and stuff. You could just chuck those things on whatever difficulty. You can unlock abilities to slow down time, and it doesn't affect your ability to unlock trophies and stuff like that. I think that's where we're moving forward, and I think it's one of the best features we've seen in games come forward. And this, like, in terms of quality of life goes, this is one of the best features we've seen in games. It's one of the ones I think could be implemented by a lot more games going forward.
Yeah, I agree, mate. The only thing I'm starting to get a bit scared of is the amount of options in the assist mode. It's almost starting to look like a PC's graphics settings, Here's 38 different dials you can turn.
It does. There is a lot there, but again, I say, like, if you're one of those players that does like to tweak stuff and does like to play with those settings, I think a lot more options is a lot better than a lot less options. So, like, I'd rather have more than enough than not enough at all.
I agree completely, mate. Sorry, go, Billy.
I was just going to say, I think you've touched on the skill level of the game. I don't think the thing that you've touched on is that it actually helps people with disability as well. So there's a lot of tweaking that you can get that can make zoom in on the screen or make text bigger, or have different controls. If they've only got, you can only play with one hand. You can't use both hands on a controller, and that sort of stuff like that. So for mine, yes, it helps people that can get into games, but it also helps other people get into the gaming world as well, which they may not have been able to do in the past because the options for them to play were fairly limited. Whereas you bring it open like that, it brings more people into gaming. And I think Xbox has even gone to the point of creating a one-handed controller that you can still use all the buttons on a normal controller, but just doing it one-handed. So again, the more people that you get coming into this hobby or interest, it's only going to work out better for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. The only request I've got turn the menu narration off by default. I hate it when they start up and it starts speaking at me in that robotic voice. All right. Next up, auto driving. Who doesn't love a bit of auto driving?
We love some auto drive. There's plenty of games have done it, but more recently on G.E.A, we've been covering and playing L.A. Noire, where you can just literally just put your passenger in the driver's seat, and he will drive you to where you need to go, and you can worry about the case you're moving on to next. But no, definitely, it probably comes with. We could probably call this quick travel as well, or quick travel is probably the name for it. Like a lot of games don't provide it. I mean, Horizon was a weird one where you do have quick travel, but you've got to get quick travel passes that you buy
Yes. Yeah.
as part of it as well. Or if you're at a fire thing, you can do it by default, or you actually have to spend things like. I don't mind the way they did that, but just quick travel in games I think is essential. I know some games it is superfluous, where something like a Spider-Man, where I know it was an option to fast travel, but it was actually more fun to move within that world, and it's sort of
it's all about the swinging.
It diminished the game to have a fast travel in it, because the game was not as big as your typical sort of open world game, like something like The Witcher or something like that. Where fast travel, so you will use it a fair bit, but it definitely has its time and place. And I think quick travel is one of those mechanics in games that you sort of don't miss it, or so you do miss it when it's not there. And you kind of wish all games had it, but I understand why certain games go away from it to sort of immerse you in the experience and the travel and stuff. But even the Ascent, I was playing that tonight just briefly. Like I had to fast travel to an area just to get to my next objective and walk there. I'd really like just like fast travel directly to my objective, just to sort of take out the tedium of just walking, where there's no point to it at all. Really, I'm not getting any further story or gameplay mechanics out of it other than sort of walking. Quick travel, definitely one of those mechanics that games have implemented. It's one of the bonuses.
Yes, it is handy. Sorry, in the Ascent, mate, just a side note, you may have already seen it, but if you hit left or right on the D-pad, you can bring up a taxi, so you don't always have to hoof it back to the metro station. You can get a taxi from wherever you are in the world.
Yeah, I did do that, but I did that tonight. I got the taxi and it took me back to the area, but I still had to hike my way all the way to my objective, which was not very close. So I thought I'd overcome it. I was like, oh, it does have quick travel. Oh, wait, I still have to walk like I'd say 3 minutes, but like 3 minutes of me just sitting down doing nothing. You're like, it could have just taken me straight to the objective. Come on, quick travel still a great thing in video games that we've we either respect and love or miss when it's not there.
Oh, I think I always love it. I love it. What do we got here? Number 6 is what? Oh, the rewind feature in Forza.
Oh, I can't think of any other games that do the rewind feature, but Forza's renowned for it. Forza. Sorry, I'm just laughing at my picture. And Forza Horizon and stuff. Like, this actually makes racing games for me. This is one of the reasons I actually enjoy Forza, because the amount of times in games, and like even I think we spoke about it recently, was the Hot Wheels game where you could be racing and just dominating a whole race and then just stuff up one tiny thing and then lose right at the end of doing it because of the rubber banding and stuff. But Forza sort of alleviates that, where you can make one mistake or 50 mistakes per race, hit that Y button, and you're just going back 10 seconds, just perfecting that turn. And yes, it's not realistic, but it completely changes the way you feel about that game and the flow of your races and the actual gameplay. You don't feel like you're wasting time by having done 3 laps or whatever, or just stuffing up a wrong turn right at the end, even though you've had the perfect race. Like, yes, it could go be seen as cheating, and your purists out there will be like, cheating. But no, I really enjoy it in terms of a gameplay and respecting my time as a quality of life feature.
I think the first game I can think of would be Prince of Persia and the Sands of Time. First game with the rewind feature.
Good pull, Troy. Good pull.
And then the only other one I've got that dates back a bit further is the old quick save, quick load. You can call that a rewind feature.
You could.
I like the fact that they've thrown it into a lot of the mini consoles and the PS Plus, like the PS1 classics and stuff. That trying to play them now, 25 plus years later, they've got a bit of a challenge to them. So the fact that you can miss time a jump or that sort of thing and go, oh no, I've got to the end of the level and I've mucked up one thing. I don't want to have to play another half an hour again. wind back, finish it off. I reckon it's fantastic in those circumstances as well.
Yes.
Oh, you're right. I think I spoke a couple of weeks ago about Siphon Filter. There's no way I would have ever beaten the helicopter back in the day, but being able to retry it for the 400th time, it was much more enjoyable experience, I dare say, and I didn't feel like I wanted to kill myself.
Perfect. All right, the final entry for this week's standoff, Steve.
What have we got?
Saving games anytime.
Oh, yeah, regular auto save and manual save. It's one of those things that you don't see in all games, which I think it probably should have it. Like some games do it really well, where it's constantly auto saving, and even if you die, you just straight back to it. But I really enjoy a game that lets you manual save whenever you want. Like your Skyrims, your Fallouts and stuff, or whatever game you're going into a combat scenario, you save or whatever, and then you can just play that scenario out as many times as you like until you absolutely perfect it. That is what I'm all about. And then as soon as you pass that, save straight away, so you know in that save point. That's where it's at. Like manual save and a really good auto save feature in a game is absolutely paramount to me enjoying games these days, because there's nothing worse than I think I mentioned a couple of weeks back playing Jack and Daxter 2 on the backwards compatibility stuff, where you literally play through a whole level, get to the end, you die, and you are back to the start of that level. So I think games have evolved in that way, and obviously Naughty Dog's obviously involved in that way as well, where no, you can't save whenever you want, or you can to a certain extent, but the autosave features in those games now are so much more advanced that you're never losing too much progress when you do die. And I think that's one of those things that games sort of, when they do get it right, it does really enhance the experience of the game.
Yeah, I agree. And sorry, you've just prompted me on two fronts. One, I love the way the Ascent does reloading. Its checkpointing system's very generous, but also it lets you keep the XP. So even if you move forward a little bit, die, go back, you've still got the XP, which is a fantastic thing. I love that. And then my second... go.
I was going to say, I definitely noticed that tonight as well. Like I died fighting some whole bunch of guys. I'm like, oh God, I've gone back to where I was up to. But there were so many that I had killed in that previous run had actually been still dead, and the enemies were still alive, came and got me, but I only had 3 of them or whatever to kill, and I'd kept the experience. So you're right. So it does actually have a pretty good save system.
It's great. Now, do either of you do as I do and try to die real quick, real early in a game just to find out what its autosave system is like?
I never die that early in a game, Troy, because I'm that good at games. But Bully might be able to speak differently. But
I think you need to change that hashtag.
What, me or Troy?
You, Steve.
To what hashtag gamer? To hashtag elite gamer or
gamer infinite?
Hashtag fog. I don't know.
I'm going gamer infinite. Troy's on the money with that one.
All right, fellas, as we have to do every week, we now must pick a winner. For my money, I'm putting auto-equip to the top of the list. In my mind, this is the best accessibility feature of note today.
Yeah, Troy, there was. I think I added this probably too late for the doc because you were all over it today.
Oh,
this week,
yeah, sorry.
This show. I did add one more that hasn't quite made the show. But
well, if you just fill for 2 seconds, I can remedy that very problem. Tell us something while I add things.
So the final one I did add was skippable cutscenes, because we've all been to that point in games where you've fought a boss multiple times, and you just can't skip that cutscene. So he's telling you all about how he's going to dominate the world and stuff. You're like, yeah, whatever. I fought you 7 times already, and yes, you've defeated me, but we have to watch that cutscene over and over again. So nothing makes me happier than when I'm able to just hold B, X, A, triangle, square, circle, whatever it might be, just to skip that cutscene and get straight into the action. Because that's every time now. If I can't skip a cutscene, I am furious if I have to rewatch that thing.
Yes, it is very frustrating for someone who dies as many times as I do. Unskippable cutscenes are one of the primary reasons I jump off games. How about you, Bully? Do you like?
You probably put in an extra what? 75 hours in your lifetime just rewatching cutscenes at least, maybe this year.
This year alone, I reckon. Yep, probably. Bully, how do you feel about him?
Nothing more. I agree. Nothing more infuriating. But the question I've got for Steve though is, why would you need a skippable cutscene? You'll only see it once. #gamer.
Well, that's why this is more for the other gamers out there. I mean, it's not an issue I face on a day-to-day basis, but this is for the people. This is the standoff's not just for myself. I'm out there looking after everyone else out there playing video games, and
would that be #all gamers?
#all gamers, Troy. #all gamers.
Even with this very fine addition to the list, Steve, I'm still sitting on auto-equip. Unky Dunky, what is your front runner, mate?
My front runner is actually probably the accessibility features being added to games, and the fact that the ones that have done it really well, and it's one of those features that I think it should be implemented in more games moving forward. I think it is one of those features that, regardless of what that accessibility is, and whether you want to call it easy mode or not, I think making games accessible to all players, disabled or abled or not, I think it is probably the best quality of life feature going around at the moment.
Fair enough, mate. So are you saying the winner of tonight's standoff is just accessibility in general? Are we not picking a specific?
Well, yeah, accessibility in general, I think, is quality of life. Bully, it depends what you have to say in relation to this as to where we land.
I'll agree with you. Just the general accessibility of games. As I said before, the more people that we can get into playing video games, the bigger the pool gets, the more money comes into it, the more mainstream it becomes as well. That you're going to get better results because obviously the more money that comes into the industry means that there's more games being made, that there's more people involved in it, that you get better ideas, you get fresher ideas. So I think the snowball effect in broad terms is much bigger from having that accessibility thing and getting more people involved.
Well, there you have it. I can't argue with that. The winner of this week's standoff is accessibility in gaming. Fantastic. Now, this brings us to the audience. Unky Dunky, please tell me, what is happening in their audience?
We had Sean Games in the chat all night, as he always is. Thank you, Sean.
Hey, Sean. Thanks, man.
He's saying g'day to all of us. G'day, Sean. We love to have you here, mate. He says Steve has sold me. I'm not sure what we've sold him on. It was pretty early on. That's
Powerwash Simulator. You sold him on Powerwash Simulator.
Got to be Powerwash Simulator, Game of the Year 2022. He wants to play this game now. I'm assuming it's either that or Escape Academy, but I'm reckoning it's Powerwash Simulator because how can you go past it? Oh, there we go. No, sorry, I read further on. Steve has sold me on Powerwash Simulator. I'm downloading this game on my PC tomorrow.
Perfect.
You're welcome, Sean, and viewers. Get yourself involved. Don't worry about Elden Ring. Powerwash Simulator is your new 2022.
Not likely.
Get your hose in your hand, people. You've heard it here first. Bully # quote of the year.
I love it. Well, with no additional questions, that will do it for this week. So, thank you very much, Unky Dunky. It's been a pleasure.
Mate, always a pleasure, mate.
And Bully, sir, thank you for joining me on this here ride.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to go tootle off to bed, put the hose in the hand.
Very good. And on that very fine note, we are going to go off duty here on the Gaming Enforcement Agency. But what else can you do with Geek Aloud? Like it, subscribe it, you'll never...
Oh, that was luck. Hey, that's something.
I love everything about it.
Old Uncle Donkey. G.E.A.